today I want to talk about how if you want to feel love, you got to give it. And one of the laws of the universe is the law of giving and receiving. So if you want to receive love, you also have to give love out to other people, right? So something that could happen if you experience an emotional trauma is this might make your heart close up, and it might make you closed off to the world and afraid to show yourself to other people, afraid to open up to other people, afraid to give love to other people because you're afraid, like, oh, what if I give this person my love and then they're not going to love me back, right? And they're just going to hurt me and they're going to leave me, right? And it doesn't even need to be a super traumatic event for you to be impacted by it. So I'll give you an example of something that's like not necessarily traumatic, but did affect me. So in elementary school, I was best friends with this girl in kindergarten. And then all of a sudden in first grade during recess, she tells me she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And she didn't tell me why. So then in my mind, like, I never knew what the reason was. So like, I kind of had this belief that like, okay, you're friends with someone and you're having fun, but like, you never know. They could always just get up one day and decide they don't want to be your friend anymore. And so I think this kind of made me nervous to kind of put myself out there in terms of friendships. And there has obviously been other things that have happened in terms of family that I felt has also caused my heart to close up. But like, we don't need to get into all of that, right? So don't invalidate yourself on whatever it is that happened. If it impacted you, like, that's fine, but we can now move forward and think about what we're going to do for the future. So if you feel like a situation happens when you were little that caused your heart to close up, right, and now you're an adult, you've kind of been living your whole life with your heart closed up and just living life afraid of love, afraid to show love, afraid to give love, afraid to receive love, right? So when you start to give love to other people, it's going to feel scary and it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to feel like that's not safe to do because you're going to get hurt, right? So this is something that you got to start small with, and eventually we'll be able to overcome this. It's obviously something I'm still working on, right? I'm not trying to say like, oh my God, now I'm 100% perfect and I'm such a loving person, right? I want to get even more of a loving person. I've definitely have seen improvements with myself. So I want to share with you this poem I wrote a while ago about how I struggled to give love in the past, but now I want to be more of a loving person. So it's kind of about my journey of being scared of to show love to wanting to start to show love to people. Warm. I don't want to be around people who make me feel cold when I want to be warm. I don't want to be around people who make me harden up when I want to be soft. I don't want to be around people who bring out my worst when I want to try my best. I don't want to be around people. I want to be around someone who melts the ice that is my heart and turns it into a fire. I want to be around someone who softens my knife and shows me I don't need to carry protection. I want to be around someone who melts my icy walls because I finally realize it's better to let in their warmth. I want to be around someone. I don't want to be closed off to the world, afraid to let anybody in. I want to be open and inviting. I don't want to be distrusting and perceiving a threat. I want to be trusting that people will be good for me. I don't want to run away from people. I want to run towards them. I don't want to push love away from me. I want to bring it closer. I want to receive love. I don't want to hold back by keeping my heart closed. I want to be open and show people I care for them. Because on the outside I am heartless, but deep down I am all loving. I want to let my love shine through. Because right now my love is pushed so far down inside of me, sometimes I forget that it is there, begging to come out. I want to be around people who make me want to bring it out. But people can't pull the love out of me. There's not a single person who can reach inside the depths of my being and make me pour out what's inside. Only I can do that. I want to do that. I want to be the type of person who remains soft no matter who I'm around. I want to be the type of person who remains warm even when part of me wants to be cold. I want to be the type of person who gives because giving feels better than withholding. I want to be the type of person who is open because being open feels better than being closed off. I want to be the person who makes other people feel warm when inside they are cold. I want to be the person who makes other people feel soft. I want to be a loving person. So a simple way that you can start to show love to people is by complimenting people. So when you go about your day and you see cool things, like people have nice style and whatever, and you kind of compliment them in your mind, don't just compliment people in your mind. You want to actually say this out loud, and this will actually make somebody's day, right? So the other day I was at the beach, and I was going to the beach every day for the summer because I was living at the beach, right? My last day that I'm there at the beach, I go to walk into the water and this girl says to me, oh, sorry to bother you, but like, you're really pretty and your bathing suit looks so nice on you, and like, I love your tattoos, right? I've been going to the beach every day, and this is the first time somebody gave me a compliment like that. And I feel like usually when people compliment me, it's just like about my outfits or whatever. But she was like, oh, you're very pretty. I usually don't get compliments that are just like solely based on looks, right? And so it really made me happy, right? And it made me think about like how this girl didn't have to compliment me, but she chose to do so, and it really made me happy and it made my day, right? And so a lot of times before I compliment a person, sometimes I get scared and sometimes I think to myself, like, is it really worth it to compliment this person? Like, this person probably gets compliments all the time. Like, they don't need me to tell them that. But if you really think about it, if everybody is thinking, oh my God, this person gets compliments all the time, I'm not going to compliment them, then nobody is complimenting this person. And also, who cares if other people are complimenting this person? It's none of your business what other people are doing. It's just about what are you doing. So if you see something and you like something, you should say it because it will make somebody happy. So I was online for the ice cream shop, and so I see this girl has a really nice bathing suit, and I'm kind of like, is it really worth it to compliment her? Then I ended up complimenting her. I'm like, no, you got to say it. I'm like, oh, I love your bathing suit. She seemed happy, and then she complimented my bathing suit also. And so I complimented this girl, and I also complimented my roommate the day before. Then this girl complimented me. So if you think about it in terms of giving and receiving, maybe it was like, since I complimented these two people, then the universe found somebody to give me a compliment. And when you are giving love to other people, like I know I talked about, like, if you want to feel love, you got to give it. But you want to give out love without the intention of wanting something in return. Like, you want to just give it out just to be nice. And it does make you happy to compliment other people, and then, because then you see how they're happy, right? So my roommate was getting ready to go out with her boyfriend, and she was wearing this long black dress. And to be honest, I don't really like black outfits, but the dress did look really good on her. So I just said to her, like, oh, that dress looks good on you, right? And she was happy and she appreciated it. Then she starts talking to me about her outfit. She's like, I don't know if I should wear this. Like, I'm going to be overdressed. I'm like, it's better to be overdressed. Like, it's everyone else's fault. They look bad and you look good, girl. She ended up changing because I guess she just wasn't comfortable in it. Her new outfit was also fine though. But it made her happy that I did compliment her. And like, even if you see somebody wearing like a really stylish outfit, I know that some people do get nervous about wearing like outlandish things, right? Because you don't know this person, you're seeing them for the first time. Like, you don't know, are they always wearing cool funky outfits every day, or is it like they decided to step out of their comfort zone, and you giving them a compliment will really boost their confidence, and then they'll think like, oh, it is okay to do this. Like, one of the things, I don't have it on right now, but I wear bedazzles when I go out to the bar. Probably won't be going anymore, but I was going out in the summer. And so I guess I was a little bit nervous to do that at first, but so then when people would compliment me on it, it would make me really happy. So it's better to just give out a compliment than withholding it in your mind, because it could really make somebody's day. Because a lot of people actually are insecure. Even if you see like a really beautiful person, they probably are still insecure. So your compliment will make them feel better. And I think one of the reasons it might be hard for you to give and receive love is because you're thinking like, why should I show love to another person because nobody's loving me? Why should I care about another person if no one's caring about me? That means you need to start loving yourself more, and you need to start caring about yourself more, because if you can show love to yourself, then you're like, okay, my cup is full. I guess it's about having a full cup before you pour into others, right? So you're like, I gave myself some compliments. Now I'm ready to go and give compliments to other people. I did some things to show myself that I care about myself. Now I'm ready to go and care about other people. Because if you're in a place right now where you really have low self-esteem and you don't care about yourself and you're just doing behaviors that show yourself that you don't care about yourself, it's going to be harder for you to show love to others and to care about other people. So maybe the first step for you might be just taking care of yourself more and showing love to yourself and caring about yourself more. And then once you start to feel better and like confident within yourself and feeling happy within yourself, then you can start to give these compliments out to other people, and it's going to be easier to do that, right? So because when I'm feeling good about myself, it makes it easier for me to start to show love to other people and start to compliment other people, versus like if I'm feeling bad about myself, then I'm not going to be as likely to want to compliment and give love to others. So because of these different negative experiences that happened in childhood, which had caused my heart to close up, when I was doing inner child healing exercises with painting, I'll show you what it looks like, but I painted this girl and I made her body in all pink, and then I drew a green heart, you know, green for the heart chakra, and I made it big. And then I was kind of thinking to myself, like, I feel like there's dirt in my heart because of all these negative experiences and like all this hurt inside, right? So I'm like, there's dirt in my heart, but then I think to myself, like, well, if there's dirt, that means that you can grow a flower, right? So then I painted a flower inside the heart. This is what the painting looks like. I had it hanging up for a while, and then I didn't really like it anymore, so I put it under my bed, and so I wasn't taking good care of it, so that's why it has all, like, this blue and other colors kind of over it, and that was not supposed to be there. That was not in the original. So this was a healing painting to manifest healing, so I have the green heart for the heart chakra, and I made the heart really big to show that it's opening up, and it's opened. And then the girl is just pink because pink for love. So I'm pretty sure I made this and did this healing exercise 2 years ago. So I kind of forgot about that painting, but then the 2 days before I moved out of the beach house for the summer, I stumbled across this song called Little Garden. So in the song Little Garden, she says, listen to your heart, grow a little garden, feed the ones around you with your love. And it reminded me of that painting that I made, right? Because I drew the flower and it's like a little garden. Then when I came home from the beach and then I go into the basement to do my laundry, I see that painting that I made hanging up downstairs in the basement because my dad hung it up. Because I had some of my paintings outside because I was just gonna get rid of them. And like I had that painting hanging up and then I was like, I don't want it anymore. So then I was just gonna get rid of it. But then my dad had hung it up. So I was like synchronicity kind of like, I heard the song, Grow a Little Garden in your heart. And then I was like remembering about the painting. I'm like, this is just like the painting that I made. And then I come home and I see the painting and I was like, oh my God. So I kind of just took that as a message that I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right thing with like opening up my heart more and giving love to people more and receiving love more. And so another thing it says in the song is, don't let the fear take you away. There's too much at stake. In terms of this, it could be like if you're scared to start giving love to other people, don't let the fear take you away. Like just do it. Just give love to other people, compliment people, give people gifts if you want to give people gifts. Like one of the things in the past, like I would only give somebody a gift on their birthday. And like with my family, like I'll make them a painting, or since I crochet now I've been crocheting them things. So Father's Day was coming up, so I wanted to make my dad a beer can cozy, so I made him one with strawberries on it. And so Father's Day was coming up in like a month, but it was like a month before I had started making it. So then I'm just like, you don't need to wait for a holiday to give somebody a gift. You don't need to wait for Mother's Day, Father's Day. You don't need to wait for somebody's birthday. You can give somebody a gift at any time. So then I just gave it to my dad early and it was really nice and he loved it, right? So if you want somebody to care about you, you have to care about them. If you want someone to be interested in your life, you have to be interested in their life, right? So me and my cousin and my little brother, we used to be really close when we were little. Then I don't know what happened. I think maybe when I went to high school and then I became depressed, I started distancing myself from people. And then I didn't know how to reconcile the relationship, how to reconnect with them. So it was kind of like we were close, and then once we stopped being close, it was hard for us to become close again. And I used to think it was their fault and like they didn't care about me and they didn't love me, right? But I see now that a relationship goes both ways, so it also is my fault in a way. And I even remember a few years ago, like my cousin telling my mom that she feels as though I don't care about her, right? And in my mind, I'm feeling that she doesn't care about me, right? So what was happening is we both felt like the other person didn't care, but we both weren't really reaching out and showing the other person that we care and that we're interested in their lives, right? And we kind of were waiting for them to reach out to us. And like I said, a relationship goes both ways, so you can't be thinking, well, if they cared about me, they'd reach out, because they could think the same thing, right? And if that's true, then you should reach out to them, right? So obviously one of us has to be the bigger person, and I wasn't doing that, which I really should because I'm 3 years older than them, right? So I kind of have a problem with reaching out to people and checking in on them and seeing how they're doing, right? I guess because I'm just so focused on my life, and then also like object permanence. Like if I don't see you, like you're not really existing to me in that moment, right? So I'm not thinking about you. Like, I'm sorry, I still love you, but like I'm not thinking about you. I'm not going to reach out to you, and I'm not going to text you, okay? So anyways, I was in the car the other day and I was trying to call up my mom, and I have like on favorites, I have my mom and then my other family members. So I accidentally called my cousin, and then I quickly declined it. And so then she texted me later and she's like, oh, sorry, I missed your call. I was in class. I'll call you later, right? So usually when this happens, when I call somebody on accident and then it still notifies them, right? And then they try reaching out to me like, oh, did you call me? I missed your call, right? I usually just say like, oh, I didn't mean to call you. That was an accident, right? But this happened the day that I was making this video about how if you want to feel love, you got to give it. So I'm like, no, let me have my cousin think that I tried to call her. And so I'll talk to her when she calls me back, right? So then she calls me back, but my phone doesn't really work. And I don't know why I don't get notified when I get calls. So I just see like, oh, missed call 20 minutes ago. So then after I see that she called me and I missed it, I called her back again. And then she texted me, I'm in the doctor's office. I'll call you after, right? So then I'm like, my phone isn't working. I'm not getting notified. So then she's like, I'll text you when I'm ready, right? So then later she texts me like, I can talk now, right? And I'm in the middle of making my video. So part of me wanted to be like, well, I'm in the middle of something right now. Like, I'll call you later, or like, I'll call you tomorrow, right? Because I didn't know when I was going to be done with the video, right? But then I'm like, no, this is what the whole video is about. Showing love to people, right? So I stopped the video, obviously. Now this is the next day, so I'm adding the other parts that I didn't do. So then I had a good conversation with her, and it actually did make me happy, and I think it made her happy as well. So like when you are showing love to other people, it also makes you feel love for yourself, right? And it wasn't even necessarily because she was really showing me love, but like it just made me feel good to talk to her and have some type of connection with her. And so my mom's sister is her aunt, right? And they're very close. So like if she tells her mom something, then her mom will tell my mom, and then I'll know. So like I know like what's going on with her life, not because I had talked to her, but because I'm getting the scoop from when she tells her mom, and then her mom tells my mom, and then my mom tells me, right? So I asked her like, oh, what's going on with you and like this thing, right? She tells me, then I kind of gave her some advice. I think that she's a smart girl, so like she knew what to do and what was right, but she kind of felt bad to do the right thing. So I think I was just giving her encouragement to follow her instincts and to do what she already knows is right. So then later in the day, she ended up texting me like, oh, whatever, like she took my advice. I guess I'm being kind of vague because I don't know if she's gonna get mad if I say everything that happened. But so then she ended up taking my advice, and I felt good, right? And I was like, you're the only person that takes my advice. Because another time, it was kind of a similar situation, and I gave her some advice, and then she took my advice too, right? Because something else happened with a different person, and I was like, they did not take my advice. And then later on, I think that they regret it, the fact that they didn't take my advice. So anyways, it made me happy that I was able to help her, and hopefully she does well. And then at the end of the call, she eventually, because I didn't want to end the phone call, I was gonna let her decide it was time to be done talking and end the phone call with me, right? So then eventually she's like, oh, my roommate's friend just came in and I want to talk to her, whatever, so I gotta go, bye. And then I was okay, bye, I love you. And then she's like, I love you too, right? And then later she, tried to continue the conversation, because then she texted me how she took my advice, basically. So that was good, and it made me happy. So if you have somebody in your life where you feel like, oh my God, this person does not care about me, right? Maybe they just are acting like they don't care about you because they feel as though you don't care about them. So as soon as you show them like, yes, I do care about you, I want you in my life, I want to have some type of connection and relationship with you, then maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, I feel the same way and I do care about you too, but I've been holding like my love for you inside because you're not showing it to me. And I guess like this person might be acting like how you are. Like if you're scared to show love to people because you're afraid of being hurt, they might feel the same way. So as soon as you start to show some love towards them, then they'll be like, oh, okay, I have this love for you too. Let me bring it out and show it to you, right? So this is why like you can't get that mad at people when they're showing you that they don't care about you, right? Because it might be that they do care, but they're just waiting for you to care first. So obviously it depends on the person, right? If you start to show love to someone and show that you care about someone, and then they're not reciprocating it back, then maybe that's just a person that's not meant to be in your life, right? But if you show love to someone and then they start to show love to you too, then that's good, and hopefully that is something that will happen. And so I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you are a loving person deep down and you have love inside of you, but you're just kind of being a silent lover, right? As an example, when I was writing in my gratitude journal, I need to start doing this again, right? But I was writing things, and then some of it would be stuff I'm trying to manifest. And I would do some manifesting for other people, right? For my family members, some of them have health problems. So I would write in like, blah, blah's good health, blah, blah's good health. And it's kind of like praying for people in silence, right? And so with my one cousin that I was talking about, it's like I'm writing in my journal, like sending her love and good vibes. And like for her, she has some health problems at the time, that she's healthy, right? So I'm doing this in silence, but then I'm not saying anything to her. I'm not reaching out to her. I'm not communicating with her. I'm not making it known to her that I care about her. I'm just doing these things silently. So what you have to do is just take the silent love that you have. Either you're doing something like praying, or maybe you just have it inside of you, and you just have to bring it onto the outside, and you just have to be brave and do it, be scared and do it anyways, And even when that was happening, I was literally thinking to myself, like, what the heck? I'm like showing this love to this girl on paper, but then I'm not doing it on the outside. I should really do it on the outside. But at the time I was scared. This was maybe like 2 years ago. Now I'm being brave, and then so that's why it was good that I accidentally called her, because so then I used that as an opportunity to actually talk to her, have conversation, and show her some love. So I've actually had 4 different boyfriends, but with my most recent boyfriend, which was like 2 years ago, we would do this thing where we would write little cute notes around the house and leave them for the other person to see, because I was living with him at the time, right? And so he initiated this and he got it going, but then I like reciprocated his energy, and I really liked it, and I thought it was really fun, and it made me happy to do this. Like when you are showing love to people, it actually makes you happy, right? So I had this wooden heart that I needed to paint something on, and so I painted like a sunflower on it because that was his favorite flower, to give it to him, right? And so that's an example of me giving a gift to to someone when it's like not their birthday, it's not any type of celebration. It was just because out of the kindness of my heart, I wanted to do this, right? The only bad thing, a major bad thing about this guy was that he was abusive towards me, and we would get into arguments all the time. So like I had told my mom how like I made him this hard, and she's like, why are you doing this? You're rewarding his bad behavior. Because like the day before or 2 days before, I told her how we got into this huge argument. It was like, oh, this big thing, right? So I didn't give it to him right away. But I think I just waited a day, and then I gave it to him, and he was really happy, right? Because this was the type of relationship where like, it was like a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows. Like, so like we would get into these arguments, but then we would make up, and so then I would love him again. So then that's why I wanted to then make him this thing. But yeah, you shouldn't be in a relationship where there's too much fighting. Whatever, obviously it became too much and I had to break up with him, right? But it just shows that like giving love can make you happy, and obviously you want to do this with the right person, right? So when I do get a new boyfriend, this is something that I want to do with them, because like I said, I've never done this before. Like I had 3 boyfriends before him, but we never did any like cutesy things like this. So I really liked it. And like one time we were making these zucchini fritters, and I would make them, usually they would just be like circles, right? But then we made them once and we kind of had like a contest. So, but I think the one he did, it was like, he made it say like, I love you. And then I had like the hearts, and it was just really cute like that. And like we were going to paint his room. So then we were getting the different paint swatches, and then one of them was orange, and it was called like Sweet Orange. Okay, I cut out the part that said sweet, and then I wrote your over it. So it would be like, you were sweet. And then I put it on the door, right? Meanwhile, this was not a sweet man. Well, I guess he was, you know, he had his moments, obviously. Why would I be with someone that was mean 24/7, right? Anyways, I broke up with him, whatever. But like, it's just something that I want to carry on into my next relationship. So another thing you want to overcome is your embarrassment of showing love, and then the other person maybe doesn't reciprocate it, or you get hurt and then things just don't end in the outcome that you want, right? For example, I made this guy a painting once. This was in college. This was kind of my situationship. Situationship wasn't a word back then, but I guess that's how I would describe it now. Even though it was just like, why was I even hanging out with this guy? Because he told me from the beginning that he did not want to get married until he was 40 years old to like a 20-year-old, right? Whatever, I'm thinking in my mind that I can change his mind and I can wow him and win him over, right? So we hung out for like 2 months probably. But anyways, I was making a painting because I just paint, right? He accidentally messed it up with his arm. It was just like a marble art painting. So then he's like, oh my God, can I keep it? Because now it's messed up, right? So looking back, I don't know if he messed it up on purpose so that he could keep it or what. Because then I'm just like, no, I'll make you a new painting. I'm not going to give you something that's messed up. And then you're like, someone's like, oh, who made you this? And then you tell them it's me and it's freaking messed up. Like, I don't think so. I'll make you a new one. And so the one that I had originally made, it was like orange, pink, and yellow. So when I asked him what colors he wanted like, you know, dark blue, green, whatever. So I made him a new painting. And then I said to him, like, you have to hang this up, okay? I literally gave him something so that he could hang it up, right? And I said to him, I'm like, if I go to your house and you don't have this hung up, I'm going to be mad, okay? Not even his house, is like his room. So then later I go to his room. He usually would come to my room, right? But so I went to his room. He didn't have it hung up. And now I'm pissed because I'm like, I literally told you, if you don't have this hung up, I'm going to be mad at you. And then you don't have it hung up. Now I'm even more mad, right? Then like the next day or 2 days later, basically he ends things with me. For his reasoning was so stupid. He's like, if we keep talking, I'm going to fall in love with you and I'm going to fail all of my classes. Like, what? Just say you don't like me and we'll move on, right? And so I was like embarrassed and I felt hurt. Like, what the heck? I made this guy a painting. He didn't even hang it up. And like, now he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Like, why did I do that? Why did I show him this type of love, right? So then obviously we don't talk anymore. And then later my friend ran into him once and then he told her to tell me that he hung up my painting. Like, seriously? I don't even want you to have that at this point because you don't even talk to me. So then because of this experience, when I would move on to other men, I would be afraid to make them a painting because I'm like, well, if I make you a painting, you're just going to leave me, right? But I did make my one ex like a giraffe. And then when I broke up with him, he gave it back to me. It's like, I don't want this now. And then I also made, I made a couple paintings for that ex that I said that was abusive towards me, whatever, right? So I guess I was still doing it, but every time I would make them a painting, I would have in the back of my mind like, oh my God, you're gonna leave me just like the first guy that did. But you can't think like that. You showed love to a person, and that's okay. You should never feel embarrassed for showing love, right? Another example was what was recently. So before I started dating myself, but in the beginning of the summer, I meet this guy at the bar. Didn't really like him that much, whatever. I agreed to go mini golfing with him. We ended up not even going mini golfing. We went on just the rides on the boardwalk, so it was fun, right? Then we're talking to him, right? I whip out my fidget toy, and I'm kind of playing with it, whatever, right? And so then he kind of asks me about it, and why do I have them, whatever. I tell him. And so then I had got this one at the toy store, and I got another one, and then I didn't like it, right? So I was kind of offering him a gift, but maybe the way I was saying it was bad. So I'm like to him, I got another fidget toy, and it was in a box, so I didn't know how it felt, right? So then I didn't like how it felt, so do you want it? Like, I'll give it to you, right? I guess that's kind of a weird way to offer somebody a gift. It's like, I got this thing, and it's terrible, and it sucks, but like, you can have it. But I don't know. I thought that maybe he would like it. You know, we all have different likes. I mean, obviously somebody would have wanted that. So I just wanted to offer it to him. I wanted to be nice. I thought it was a kind gesture, even though it seems a little bit weird, right? Anyways, we are talking about hanging out again and going kayaking, right? So then he drops me off at home, we kiss, whatever. And then we're kind of just talking, like texting, or Snapchat texting. And he wasn't asking me to hang out again. And so then eventually I'm like to him, like, I don't want to be your pen pal. Like, if you want to hang out with me, you can ask me to hang out, right? Then he tells me, he's like, I'm looking for a girlfriend, not you, though. Not exactly in those words. But then, like, I kind of felt hurt, and I was like, what the heck, that's so embarrassing. I tried to give him a gift, which maybe he didn't even want it, to be honest. But then he, like, didn't even want to date me. Like, okay. Like, I didn't even want to date him either, but still. So that's just another example of like me trying to show love to a person and them not really caring about me. But it's okay, and you can't be embarrassed about those things. And when I go into another relationship, if I want to give somebody something, I should give it to them. And you can't think about these past experiences that you had that didn't end right. You just have to move forward, and you have to trust that this new person that's in front of you is going to be loving, and they're going to care about you, and they're going to treat you right. So somebody in my life just went through a breakup. They got broken up with, and they're very upset by this, right? And very hurt by the whole situation. So I just said to them, like, don't let this stop you from trying at love again. Don't let this stop you from thinking that there are other good people out there that want to be in a relationship with you. Don't allow this to make you scared of love. Don't let this make you cold and heartless, right? Keep being a loving person and keep trusting that love will find you and that there are loving people out there, right? Meanwhile, I'm letting this girl who didn't want to be my friend anymore in first grade ruined my whole life, and this situation that happened with family members when I was little ruined my life and make me cold, right? So this brings me to my next point. Yes, we can say this specific moment in time and this person caused me to close up my heart and make me cold and make me scared of love, scared to give and receive love, right? But at the end of the day, this situation happened so long ago. And at this point in time, it is your fault that your life is the way that it is, right? You can't blame these people forever. You know, I'm not yelling at you guys. I'm talking about myself, you know. I can't blame this girl. I can't blame my family member. You know, now it is my fault that I'm still scared of this, right? And I need to do what I need to do to overcome this. So that's why I've been trying more to compliment people and trying more to show love to other people. And, you know, it's like with any fear, right? Because, like, say you have the fear of going to the gym. The first day you go to the gym, it's going to be hard. Maybe the first week you go to the gym, it's hard. You know, eventually you get comfortable being in the gym. You get comfortable around the equipment, whatever. However long it takes you, but eventually you're going to get comfortable, right? So I guess it's kind of like that, too. Like, you're afraid to show love to people. So the first times you're going to do it, maybe the first month of complimenting people is going to be hard. But eventually it's going to get easier, and eventually it's just going to become your normal, right? I give the example about the gym because the first time I went to the gym, I was like shaking before I went in there, and I was really scared to go to the gym for whatever reason, right? Now I'm comfortable at the gym. I know about the equipment, whatever. There's always going to be more advancements that you can make. Like, there's some exercises I don't know how to do, and so that would be kind of anxiety provoking to try another new exercise. But for the most part, I am comfortable, right? So it's kind of like the same thing with love. If you're uncomfortable giving compliments, start small. Eventually you get comfortable giving compliments, and then you can start doing maybe gift giving, and then you get more comfortable doing that. Then maybe you could start to tell people, oh, I love you, giving people maybe better compliments. Like instead of just saying, oh, I like your outfit, maybe go into like, oh, you're such like a kind person, and like maybe more compliments based on personality. So there's always like different layers to these things and more ways you can show love. So just start in the smallest way that you think is good, and then you can work your way up to bigger and better things. And so at my old waitressing job, there was this one lady, it's like this old lady, and she would always say like, oh, I love you. Like she would say that all the time, like to everybody, right? And at first I'm like, this is a little weird. This is like a little bit overkill and overdone, right? Like you barely even know me, and like you're being like, oh my God, I love you, you know? But then I realized, it's better to be like that. It's better to be over loving than to be so cold and not loving at all, right? So I feel like sometimes people say like, oh, that's love bombing, But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like it is better to be a love bomber than to be somebody that's so cold and distant and acts like I hate you kind of vibes. But anyways, then I had a new job when I was at the beach, and they were really nice to me. It was like a family-owned business, and I felt like they kind of treated me as though I was one of their family members, right? So then on the last day, the food runner was like, I'm gonna miss you, Grace. Like, I love you. I usually don't like the people that we hire, but I really liked you, right? And so then I'm like, oh, I love you too. And then earlier in the day, since I crochet, and they all know that I do because I would talk about it with them, I was crocheting the night before in my sweater that I wore that sweater to work. So I had a piece of yarn on it, I guess, that fell on the floor. And so the owner like picked up the yarn, and he's put it in this like box that they have like kind of pens and stuff in. And he's like, now we'll always remember you. And then I was thinking like I should have made them like their logo is kind of like a pig, a flying pig. Then I was thinking like I should have made them like a flying piggy crochet thing. Like that would have been so cute, and that would have been a fun way for me to show my love to them and show my appreciation to them for being so nice to me and really welcoming me. And I was happy that they hired me because no other place would hire me for whatever reason. But I didn't do that, sadly, because I thought about doing it on my last day, and then the next day I ended up coming home, so I didn't have time to make it. So I kind of felt bad for not showing love in that instance. But it makes me think about like how in the future, maybe if I feel like I want to show somebody that I appreciate them, I can make them a little bit crochet thing. And it's fun for me to crochet. I usually just make things for myself, but that could be a way for me to show love to other people by making them something. Like I do make things for people on their birthdays, but if it's not their birthday, then I don't make them anything. But I want to try maybe giving gifts for no reason, and not because it's any special occasion or it's not a birthday, just giving it because I want to and because it feels good to give, and it makes you feel happy when other people are happy. So sometimes you might want to show love to another person, but you're waiting for them to show you love first. Maybe this is because you don't want to be embarrassed if maybe they don't love you back, or they're not going to show you love back, and then you're going to get hurt and feel rejected, right? So I'll give you an example about something that happened before I went back to dating myself, right? I left the bar with this guy, and then like we hooked up. Then I hung out with him again. We went out to eat, we got dinner, and then I went back to his house, and then we hooked up again, right? So then I said to him, because I don't like to hook up with someone if they're going to be silent and not saying anything the whole time, because it makes me feel like they don't care about me, right? And so basically I should just not be hooking up with people unless I like get to know them more and can have an actual connection with them first. But whatever, I already did that. You can't go back in time and shame yourself for your actions, okay? So anyways, I say this to him, and then he's like, well, I don't recall you saying anything to me. And I'm like, well, that's because I wanted you to get it going, and then I was gonna, feed off your energy or whatever the heck. So basically, we were both the type of person that's like waiting for the other person to show some type of love first, right? And to be honest, like that's just not the type of person that I want to be around. That's not the type of person I want to be my boyfriend. But I guess I was just attracting that type of person because that's how I was acting, right? So then we did this thing where I said a few compliments about him, things I liked about him, and then he said a few things that he liked about me, right? So it was fun and it was nice. So it does feel good to give out compliments to people, right? So doing that with him though kind of did make me realize like, wow, I actually don't think I like this guy that much, because I could only list like 3 or 4 things that I liked about him, right? And he didn't list that many things that he liked about me either. So I guess like we just didn't really like each other that much, and that might have made us realize that. But it did feel nice to give those few compliments and for him to give me back those few compliments. So if you're with somebody, you're dating somebody, you're trying to date somebody, right? Maybe try to show them some love and see if they're going to show it back to you. Obviously, you want this to be mutual, and you want to be able to, you want to be with somebody that you can give, like you want to list at least 10 things. I feel like you should be able to list 10 things. Like if you just meet someone, fine, maybe you don't have up to 10 things, but like by the 3rd date, I feel like you should have 10 things that you like about this person, hopefully. And so like for me specifically, when I go on a date with a guy, like I don't compliment them until they compliment me first, okay? I'm always waiting for them to show me that they like me before I show them that I like them. Because I guess I was thinking that it's embarrassing to show love if the other person isn't going to do it back. And like, if you just meet someone, you don't really know what the vibes are. Like, I guess I feel more comfortable when it is confirmed that this other person likes me and cares about me. So I think that's why I end up liking people that love bomb, either romantic people or just friends or whatever, anybody. I like when people love bomb because then it shows to me like, okay, this is true and they do like me, right? So it is safe for me to then show them some type of love. Because if somebody's just being normal or if they're being cold, I'm like, okay, this is not a safe space and it is not safe for me to show them love because I'm going to get hurt by them. But like I said, you shouldn't think like that, because if you're thinking like that, they also might be thinking like that, and they might just be waiting for you to get it going. So you never know what people are thinking, right? But anyways, so in the past, I wouldn't compliment guys unless they had complimented me first, except for one compliment that I'll give without needing compliments first would be telling people that they have pretty eyes, because I like to date boys that have blue eyes, because I have brown eyes. So obviously I just think that blue eyes are really pretty, and it can be like green too, maybe. I do prefer blue. And I also just think like a blue-eyed person will appreciate my brown eyes, you know, because if a brown-eyed person, like, they probably don't like their eyes, they're probably not going to like my eyes, right? And people always want what they don't have. So a blue-eyed person, I feel like they're more likely to like brown eyes than a brown-eyed person would. But one time, I'm on a date with this guy. This is like our 2nd date when we're hanging out. And I'm like, you have pretty eyes. And he has green eyes, right? They were really nice, but like I said, they weren't blue, okay? So it was a little bit of a downgrade. He says to me, your eyes are the color of poop. What the heck? I was so embarrassed. It's like, I gave you a compliment and then you gave me an insult. So then I immediately go, well, your eyes are the color of throw up. So, like, what? You see, that's why don't be with a green-eyed person. That's what that showed me. Gotta stick to your blue eyes, because you can't even give an insult about blue eyes. What is something that's blue that's ugly? Nothing. Blue, color of the sky, color of the ocean. That's all good things, you know. Good thing his eyes were green so that I was able to give him that insult. But anyways, I don't want to be with someone that makes me act mean also. I think for me, once I start acting mean towards a guy, it's because I don't like him. Because in the beginning, I act nice, and then sometimes they'll kind of piss me off, and then I start to act mean. And I think once I start acting mean, that's a sign that I need to get out of this relationship, and this is just not meant to be. Because I want to, like I said, I want to be a loving person. I want to be a nice person. I don't want to be around someone that's going to make me act mean. And I think that's just like a sign that that's just not the person for me, right? Obviously, like, people are going to upset you, and you're not going to be able to be happy 100% of the time and nice 100% of the time. Sometimes you're going to get into arguments. But if these arguments are happening so soon in the relationship, that's just like a bad sign. Like I'm talking about wanting to start acting mean like on the 3rd date. Like, that's bad. On the 3rd date, you should still be in like very happy, loving mode, right? It's different when you're like dating someone, maybe you're dating on the 3rd month and then you get an argument, whatever, right? You know, I'm talking about being mean too quick. That is not good, and I think that's a sign for me that I'm not meant to be with that person. Thank you so much for listening. Do your best to stay trusting and trust that these new people that are going to enter your life are going to be nice to you and are going to care about you and are going to love you. Try not to let these negative experiences that happened in the past keep you cold. Keep putting yourself out there and being loving. It's going to be scary at first, but that's okay. Be scared and do it anyway. The more that you show love to people, the easier that it's going to be, and then it's just going to become natural and normal for you to behave as a loving person. So please like and comment if this video was helpful for you, and comment any other video suggestions you want to hear me talking about. Thanks. Bye.